big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
Especially for you drunken Plum pork chop. A while ago I went to Antwerp and I visited a chef there that was doing amazing things with Wagyu beef, and he had these Japanese ingredients that just blew my mind. So I went out there on the World Wide Web and I figured out which one he used and put them together to bring you this beautiful dish. I took something from Japanese Wagyu and I'm bringing it to you in barbecue style. Come on, come. I got some beautiful pork chops. You want to eat some pork chops? I got my dry ager right here and I got a little pork left over. It's very, very little. Last pieces, then the whole dry ager's empty and I gotta figure new stuff out to put in it. So without further ado, let's get this out. Looks really good, but we gotta do some work before we can turn this into a pork chop. First step in the process is sharpening the knife. I'm using a steel knife. And these things are very forgiving, but most importantly, you can easily sharpen them while you're working. That means you always have the sharpest edge. Of course, you can use one of those hard Japanese knives, but they're brittle and it's a lot of work to sharpen them. You can never do this while you're actually working. And with butchering, you always want to be able to correct your knife for when you either hit a bone or hit something hard that's going to make it dull. First step now is to get this pork chop out. I'm going to remove the part of the belly by just cutting it up and working my way through the meat, skin, and everything that gets in my way. Then I'm going to get rid of this pellicle that sits on the outside. And now I'm going to cut up my chop 2 fingers thick. First step is to saw through the bone, then get the knife out. Work it through the skin and just apply a little force. There we go. First beautiful pork chop T-bone. Clean up that sawdust. I like how this looks, except for the amount of fat that sits on the outside. I'm gonna take some of that off. Beautiful dry aged T-bone. Look at that T sitting in there. Absolutely gorgeous. A little bit of loin, nice bit of fat and meat. Let's do one more. And that's how you make beautiful dry-aged pork chops. Now in themselves, they're fantastic, and all they need is a little bit of salt and some heat. However, I've got something else in mind. I want to use something that I found in between those little pearls that chef gave me. Let me show you what it is. That's what I'm talking about. This is a Japanese Plum paste. I'm talking about something that brings acidity to my dish. Because one of the big things that I'm thinking of as a chef, I'm thinking of fat, I'm thinking of acidity, to balance both of them out and make the perfect dish. And since I need that acidity, I'm always looking for agents to bring it to me, and preferably something that tastes good. And now I found this plum paste. I'm in love with it. So I'm going to take this, put it on the pork chops. Just going to use my brush to brush it on. I don't want extreme amounts of this plum paste on my pork chops. Just a little bit's gonna do the job. I'm gonna layer on flavors and flavors on top of layers and layers. There we go. Nice brown layer. And notice I'm keeping that fat cap absolutely white and untouched.
Got a little spot there.
You're fired. Everything nice and brushed. And that's the first layer of flavor. Now moving on to the second layer of flavor. It starts with the jar. In goes a tablespoon of salt, half a tablespoon of turmeric powder, half a tablespoon of onion powder, half a tablespoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Mix that up and sprinkle it onto the pork chops. And another layer of flavor is salt on the fat cap. I'm taking some light sea salt, some fleur de sel, and I'm going to build up a big fat crust. Don't be scared to overdo it, because most of this will render off. Just press it on, make sure that it sticks. And now these are ready to go in the grill. Now my pork chops are a little thick. They're almost 2 fingers thick. That means I can't just sear them off and hope for them to be done, especially since I want 65 degrees Celsius internal temperature. That's why I'm going to apply the reverse sear. And that's why I'm going to turn on 2 burners on the Napoleon gas grill. So I'm creating a direct and an indirect zone. We're now running at a temperature of over 150 degrees Celsius. The barbecue is nice and warm. We got that one hot zone and we got the indirect zone. So I'm placing my pork chops over indirect heat and I'm placing them straight up. And since they're nice and thick, that is very easy to do. Now I'm just going to close the lid and let them come up to temperature. And remember, I'm looking for 65 degrees Celsius core temperature. The core temperature is 65 degrees Celsius. I'm going to take these off, and while they're resting, we're going to take a closer look at these beauties. The fat from the side rendered down, most of the salt is now off, and we got beautiful rub sitting on the side with that plum sauce. Together it built up an insane crust. They need about 5 minutes to rest, just to make sure that it doesn't keep on cooking and we're going over the desired core temperature. And once they're rested, we're going to put them on the sizzle zone. So I'm going to preheat it. Open up the lid, turn on the gas, wait for 5 seconds and then hit the ignition. Time to sear them off. There we go. And to finish it off, I've got something special, something that a friend of mine gave me, and it's called Slipovich, and it's made of same plums. Well, not exactly the same plums, but it's the same flavor profile. So just gonna finish it off with a little bit of fire. That's going to really intensify the flavors. Look at these beauties burn up. The theme of today was plums on the porterhouse pork. And just as you think, wow, I don't know about plums, maybe they're not the right thing, just give them a try. Get over that hurdle of having fruit on your food. It tastes freaking amazing. Ketchup is tomatoes after all. So just think of it, open your mind, give it a try, and then let me know what you think of this recipe. Don't judge me before you try it, please. Let's slice into these tender pork chops. Look at how juicy this meat is.
I love a good pork steak, and they come in rare. This looks beautiful.
Now let's give this a try. After that beautiful magic show, this can only be good.
Whoa.
That plum paste is so good. It's so tasty.
That's a kick. Wow. It's like in your face. So tender. There's so much going on.
Of course, that liquor that we burned off, you can taste it, but nothing stands out as much as that plum paste. It's really ridiculously good.
I gotta try these.
Wait till you try the plum paste, and it's got all these weird signs on it, Japanese signs, but it's plum paste. You gotta look up plum paste. We'll put a link down below, but
So a lot?
that's quite a lot. But okay, go ahead. No, sure.
Whoa. Oh my good lord.
Do you feel it grips your jaw? It grips your jaw. It's like
Whoa. Oh.
gripping your jaw.
Good
and just
lord.
pulling it forward like this.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
I gotta have some. Where did you order this?
Online. It's not.
You won't tell me the secret?
The link's down below.
All right.
Just click it.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoyed this show. Let us know. Give us a comment down below. Give us a big
Click on
thumbs
this
up.
link.
See you guys next time. Until then,
Eet smakelijk.
and keep on grilling.